Hello, good afternoon. It's 2:07 p.m. on a nice and cool Monday. It is now the 12th of December, year 2022. As they say, Paskong Pasko na. For those of you outside the Philippines, it's almost Christmas. Yes. And so we have, as usual today, our little conversation here on Tidbits. That's why it's little, right? It's about conversations between our executive editor of opinion, Rose de la Cruz, and yours truly, a columnist also on opinion. Hello, Miss Rose de la Cruz.
Hi, I hope you'll find our topic today interesting.
Siyempre, and of course, always interesting because we said so. There you go. Di ba? I like making
Ah,
you laugh. Sabi nila, they
okay.
said, di ba, when you affirm, it comes true. Di ba?
Yes,
Yun.
yes.
So,
Mm.
we have had two episodes and this is the third one. You will find them all on YouTube. Look for my channel called Show and Tell with Miss B. By the way, what is the title of your column, Rose?
Mine today is oh, my column, you mean?
Yes,
Oh, let me
Teddy Bear
check.
Truth.
Yeah, it's still bare truth. I mean,
There
I
you
I thought you were asking what my topic is.
Okay, there you go. So we have the bare truth, the column of Rose de la Cruz, and that's not teddy bear, correct? That's bear.
That's bear. Bear, as in bear.
Come to think of it, that's cute, bare truth, because right people say it's the naked truth. That's right, correct?
Yes, yes.
So there you go, meaning no dressing, no cover ups. Wow, scary. Okay. And on the lighter side of life, you see, Rose is the brighter one. I'm just the wacky one. On the lighter side of life, well, yeah, I would say, Rose, give me a comment on this. Wouldn't we say you are the head and I'm the heart, and together we share tidbits with them? What do you think?
No, I'm just being serious.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, she's a serious case. Oh my gosh. Okay, remember, I tell people candid conversations. I tell people, right? The world is as it is. But then again, being a senior citizen, let us remind people we don't stop laughing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop laughing. Diba?
Right,
So
right.
there you go. So let's share with them tidbits, our insights, and help people laugh and learn because that's the best way to learn when we're having moments of enjoyment, right? Rather
Right?
than being, yeah, so serious. Tell you.
Mm-mm.
Okay, how about we discuss my column last Friday, which you saw when you were editing, and the title of my column was in Candid Conversations. The topic was when we
Mm.
open our mouth. Huh? You like that, Rosa?
Yes, yes,
When
yes.
we open our mouths. Because some people, they talk without thinking and then they say, I know, sorry, what I meant was, oh, sorry, you said it already. Eh. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, it's important that before we open our mouth, we will make sure that what we say is what we really mean, not just for the sake of talking.
Interesting. That is correct. And so I tell people, it is nice to think before you speak. It is even nicer to think before you click because once you put it online, you're deado. Even if you delete it, you edit it, if people passed it around, it's over. What you think?
Yeah, that's the danger of the internet.
Well, I'll tell you. It is true that it's the danger of the internet, but I think the danger is in the mouth that talks before the brain engages.
and and the finger that clicks.
I tell people, why don't you sit on your hands? I'm gonna give a tip for the day, huh? Tell me if this works. I write, and people notice that I would rather talk than write because
Mm-hmm.
you most likely type faster than me, but
Mm-hmm.
I talk faster than I type. Okay? So, yeah.
Okay.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Rose. There are many ways of connecting, there are many ways of learning, and there are many ways of expressing a message that we want to convey. For example, you are an excellent writer. That is why you're my editor. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You
And
said so.
I'm a broadcaster, and I engage in conversations, as they say, anywhere, anytime, about anything. And people say, why? Do you know everything? I say, no. So how can you discuss it? I just say, Rose, I don't know. Tell me. Or what can you say? Say you don't know and ask the other person. What you think?
Yeah, it's nice to pitch in your views first and then let the other person also assess.
Correct. That's why it's called conversation. Now, I love what you just said because, Rose, time and again, forever and ever, amen, I tell people life is not a prepared speech. I will repeat it again for the second time once more. Life is
Mhm.
not a prepared speech. Di ba, Rose? They memorize everything they're gonna say, and then when
Mhm.
Rose gives her opinion, they just go on reciting with no connection to Rose's opinion. What can you say about that?
True, it happens all the time.
What is your feeling when people do that? Ah,
When I hear people talking to me discordant, meaning no relation to what I was saying, I
yeah,
just I just zoom out.
you space out, huh?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. No problema. So I tell people, if I thought, I have a joke for that, Rose. For people who keep reciting and they can see that we're bored and they still keep reciting, I have a joke. Please give me a reaction. I say, oh, Mr. So and so, he is a sure cure for insomnia. Di ba?
Right. I fall asleep.
O, di ba? So I tell people, if you have difficulty falling asleep, I will introduce you to some
Mm,
people I know. Ay, nako. Even the toughest insomnia case, they're asleep in like 3 minutes flat. Ay,
mhm.
Rose, give me your comments, especially the ones who are monotone. Di ba, like,
Yeah.
I think in my opinion that it should be like, if you're gonna talk monotone, Rose, I tell people, you should end your statement with, Amen.
You know, that happens to me a lot when I listen to the sermon of the priest.
You're bad, ah.
A monotone priest, no matter what how good the sermon is
Yeah,
or the message is, I tend to fall asleep. Although I can remember what is being said
yeah, but
because
still, it could be better,
mm,
right? Oh,
yeah,
sige. I like asking you opinions because you're the editor-in-chief of Opinion. I'm your loyal columnist. So, I, this is true, ha? I actually I train pastors, priests, and even the people at the lectern, the ones who read the portions of the mass, right?
the lector, yes.
So, what I tell the lectors is, do not recite like you are in elementary school. Your face is down. You're looking at your código. You're looking at your notes. You don't make eye contact with the audience, meaning the people in service, in church. How about how'd you like this, Rose? Candid conversations. You should,
Mm,
like this, di ba, Rose? Like, they can't
mm,
see us, but people who listen to this, they say, it's so cute. It's like we're with you and Rose having
mm,
merienda. Di ba? Like making
mm.
kwento.
Yes, yes.
Di ba? So,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
it's it's not a question of being animated or anything, but speaking in their wavelength, meaning
yeah,
um, do not bore them with things that don't matter to them.
good. I like what you said. You see, I tell people, it is very nice when you see the more popular I'm not religious, right? More popular, I would call them public speakers who happen to be in service of church
Mm,
services, right? They
mm-mm,
sound like they're just telling stories because not
mm-mm.
to be religious, but then in the spirit of Christmas, wasn't the little Christ child, evangelist, and adult the greatest storyteller in the entire planet? He was a great storyteller.
Right.
So that's what we're gonna do, right? We're gonna try to be storytellers here on Tidbits. Kaya nga, bits and pieces lang. Oh,
Uh-uh, uh-uh.
Rose, give me your take on this. When I was writing the column, I remembered a quote and I looked up in the internet to make sure I got it right. And people, remember, when you quote, please quote correctly. Kaya nga it's called quote. Rose, can you give me a reaction here? My eyebrows are going up. There's some people who are gonna quote and then it's mali-mali, it's all wrong. Hindi ba ethically your quote should be correct? Kaya nga quote.
Also, I do run across such kind of quotes. You
Kainis.
know, uh, when somebody makes a comment, chances are there are lapses in either the grammar or the connection between thoughts. So it's not necessary for a writer to be quoting verbatim. That's why we use dots, because it means that the next thought is not related to the other one.
Yeah. So, it's really amazing how some people, ay, nako, I don't know. I tell them, there was this little booklets when we were small. It was called Connect the Dots, one, two, three,
Connect
four,
the
five.
dots.
So I tell them, I think I'm gonna go to National Bookstore and see if there's like that. And I'm going to help you practice. So if you can connect numbers, next time I'm going to put your sentences randomly, you like this, on Manila paper or in a big, how do you, cartolina, and then make you connect the dots. Sige na, let's see if you can connect your thought bubbles. Diba? Grabe.
Oh,
Grabe. My gosh. Okay, so here's the quote. Stephen R. Covey. I love this guy. And the
yeah.
quote goes, when we open our mouths to describe what we see, we, in effect, describe ourselves, our perceptions, our paradigms. Close quote. And I remember this old woman who told me maybe back in the 90s, and some of those who are listening here were probably not yet born, no? She said, you know, when you talk, you do not see the world as it is. When you talk, you see the world as you are. So be careful. People can read you because of what you're saying. What do you think of that, Rose?
That's true. What comes out of you is a reflection of your inner thoughts, your inner feelings, your subliminal.
Correct. So, Rose, why weren't these people taught by their, I don't know, parents or whoever took care of them? That's why I say, when people are pintaseras, pintaseros, and this poor name called Marites, I mean, not the real Marites, the Marites that people talk about, I tell people, even in opinions here in our newspaper, this is an expression of who we are and how we think and how we feel, correct?
Right.
Now, I'm going to ask you, there's two kinds of animals, excuse me, two kinds of people on this planet. The people who really say, that's the way it is. Notice, they don't say that's what I think, I feel, I believe. They say, no, that's really the way how things are. What can you say about those people?
You mean they don't have any rationality or their own judgments or perceptions about anything? They just want to say something for the sake of saying it.
You will be surprised, Rose, how people can be so hard set into believing that what they know is what really is in the entire planet. And I challenge them. Are you sure, ito na, they call me Mataray, that what you said is 100% correct in every country on this planet? Are you sure? O di ba valid point yun?
Oo, oo. Totoo yan. You
But
have to challenge.
it would be nice to say, what I see is this. What I heard was that. What I feel or what I felt is or was this. Kumbaga, I saw, I heard, and I felt. So you
Mm,
take accountability na this
mm,
is, kaya nga our newspaper's opinion, it is yours. Di ba?
mm. Yes.
Ako, Rose, have you ever gotten into these conversations with people who say, no, you're wrong. And talagang they will stand pat that anyone who doesn't think the way they do is wrong. What do you think we should do with those people,
You
Rose?
know that happens in Facebook all the time.
Ah,
That's
sige.
why, yes, that's why when I come across people like that, I just don't react anymore because
Yeah,
my God, it's a waste of time.
you're correct. You know, Rose, I like what you said. Because when people say, I didn't like what they said, I said, so? I said, you know, when you wrestle with pigs, here we go. When you wrestle with pigs, they're gonna throw you into the mud, and that is where they live. They're gonna
Mm,
win because they're used to being in the mud. So
yes,
don't engage and wrestle with pigs. They will beat you in their own game. O, di ba?
yes,
Ala.
true.
And then I'll ask you something else. People are not aware that there is a thin line where things they say, stuff they say online can border into cyber libel, and that is jailable.
Mm,
It is cyber libel if it destroys one's good name, reputation, track record. If they could only say, I saw, I heard, I felt. But when they say, no, it's like this, be careful because you know that in newspapers, magazines, you know that libel can happen in everyday situations, right?
right.
Oh, so my question to you, Rose, is people are so, I'm sorry, they have to look up the word ignorant. Okay, this is radical, and before you get mad at me, I tell people, please look up the meaning of ignorant. Ignorant just means lack of awareness, lack of knowledge. They are not aware that if a person writes a letter, writes in the newspaper, magazine, or wherever, they say that's libel. I said, well, when you do the same, when you have the same action, the same behavior online, that is what becomes cyber, meaning online. Cyber libel. The libel just went into the internet and it's there forever, Rose, and it goes viral.
Yan yan. It is
Diba?
shared.
So maybe we can make it an advocacy. Are you aware, Rose, that 9 out of 10, and there are some days where 10 out of 10 people I talk to are not aware that there's a thing called cyber libel, and it is the same libelous statements elsewhere, except you do it on the internet. They understand that libel can get them into legal trouble, but they just said, oh, I thought not on the internet. I said, hello. That's even worse because it moves faster. What do you think?
I can't believe that there's that high mark of people being unaware about cyber libel. I can't
Ay,
believe
nako,
it.
Rose.
Really?
It's, that's why I told you, I want to make this mass movement for every person on the planet to know what the word ignorant means. It doesn't mean not bright. It just means lack of awareness and correct information. Huh? Like,
Mm-mm.
well, okay, first things first, why do you not want to think before you speak, think before you click, and then write? And people say, ay, ano eh, kasi ano, and then they'll say they were in a bad mood. I said, online is not therapy. Why are you, what? Rose, ano ba? They're in a bad mood. Oh, and then, why don't you go see a therapist?
Or tire yourself out physically to get the steam out.
Yeah, that's true, Rose. Like, but see what I'm saying is you realize that someone can get fired, relationships can get broken because you were having a bad day. So I tell people, tell me if you like this, Rose. I tell people if you want to rant or whatever, write it in a Word document. Okay? Write it. Just
Mhm.
get it out of your system
But
and
don't
store it.
send.
That's it. And store it. Na. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like what you said. And store it in your files. And if
Mm-mm.
you like to send, send it to yourself.
Right.
Send it to yourself in email. Send it to
Mhm.
yourself. Do you know? Ito, little tip, Rose. See if this works. Just imagine it. Everybody listening, listen to this. You write it, send it to yourself in email, open your email, and then visualize yourself as the recipient. Ito na, Rose. And read it out loud, word for word. And imagine how the receiver would feel. How you would feel if you were the recipient. What do you think? Good advice?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, when I'm angry, I make it a point to tire myself physically, not to go in front of my laptop, or
Ah,
not to have a ball pen at hand, or not to have my phone within distance, because
ah,
I don't want saying anything I would regret.
there you go. And people don't realize that they are legally accountable. They can regret
Right.
all they want, but they can still go to jail.
Yes.
And the worst part is they're not aware that over and above being jailable for certain actions, there is such a thing as monetary compensation for the
Right.
victim.
Yes.
So I tell people, you better think. And if you think what we professionals do is easy, remember, we have to make sure that we do not hurt or damage any person in a very untrue way, right? And
Mm-mm.
that's why I
True.
don't have much respect for fake news or just saying you're having a bad day. Ay, nako, tell you. Wait, I remembered something, ha? In my column. Let me read a short paragraph so that those who haven't read it yet, give you a reaction, Rose. Here's the column. The trainer cracked a joke, and then this happened. Most of the people in the room were laughing out loud, but there was a small group that was frowning. The next paragraph says opposite results. What happened? All the trainer did was to recite what Stephen Covey said. When you open your mouth to describe what we see, so people started laughing na, di ba? Because they know who's guilty of that, right? When we open
Mm.
our mouths to describe what we see, we in effect describe ourselves, our perception, our
Mm-mm.
drives. So eto na. Every time the speaker trainer said that, she got contrasting reactions from the audience. One half, laughter. One half, frowns. So explain that to me, Rose. One statement with opposite results. Sige nga.
Well, that's in their state of mind, you know.
Like,
The reaction that they gave out is how they felt that very moment about what was said.
okay, I like what you said. Now, the question is, why do they feel that way? Ito na, for example, there is what you call a winner mindset and a loser mindset. I mean, I highly respect Stephen Covey, as millions of people do, and so do you. So she was
Mhm.
giving when we open our mouths, okay? So let me read to you what I wrote and tell me what you think. There's the winner mindset and the loser mindset. Here,
Mm.
the ones who understood and appreciated the wit and satire of the trainer said, I like her. She's confident and funny. Kaya nga wit eh, di ba? Witty. Ito na, Rose. The loser mindset. Here are some unsavory comments that were overheard. The loser said, I don't like her. I find her arrogant. Give me your take on that. Di ba people laugh with wit, but the others say arrogante. Same
The ones
statement.
that
Oh,
the
sige.
ones that said the ones that said the speaker was arrogant are the ones who are uh with loose tongues. Tinamaan
Aha,
sila. Tinamaan sila. So they're being offended by the comment or
correct.
the thesis.
So,
The ones
I,
that the ones that laughed
yeah,
are the ones who knew and practice that you have to think before speaking and that what you will say is a reflection of you.
there you go. So it has just proven what I said that if you have a winner mindset, you will like a winning statement. If
Right.
you have a loser mindset, you will not like a winning statement because you're a
Mm-hmm.
loser. Diba?
Mm-hmm.
Ito
Yes.
example. Ito na example, Rose. You and I and the people in opinion, we express opinions. Kaya nga it's called opinion, di ba? So,
Mm-hmm.
the winner says, for example, about Rose, about Miss V, they say, it's fun how she encourages us to express our opinions. Di ba? Expressing an
Mm-hmm.
opinion. Winner
True.
mindset. Ito na, loser mindset. The loser mindset said, che, she always has to have an opinion about anything and everything. Ababababa. Kaya nga opinion eh. Oh, what say
Napikon.
you? Picon.
Napikon.
Okay. I like what you said, no? For those who are not speaking our language, picon means onion skinned and most likely a guilty party. So
Mm.
my statement here, Rose, is the person who got upset is probably guilty of the very story that the trainer was saying, right?
Right. Right.
So, exactly what you said, Rose. If they weren't nasty, nobody would have realized that they're loser mindset. But because
Mm-mm.
they made nasty remarks, then people were sure. So let me ask you what you said about online. Perhaps you can give some adult, professional, motherly, auntie, ninang advice to people who are not aware, as you said, that their brains are showing when they write online their comments. Give me your statement and opinion on that. That it exposes their brains, their mindset.
Right. Uh, I seldom browse over comments that are so bitter because I don't want to be affected by their bitterness. And in the same manner, uh, I also shun looking at or reading things that are so frivolous, like displaying you're in this travel, you're in this party, you're with these big wigs, etc. You know, what's your point?
So for the loser mindset, give your advice or commentary.
For the loser mindset, those that make comments or criticize even without thinking, I just, there's a, a button in the delete.
Correct. So that is the best thing. Now, I'm glad you mentioned that. I think they need some therapy. Okay. And
Mm,
I just remind people, people get mad at Facebook. I said, don't get mad at Facebook. That Facebook is just an app. It's the people because it doesn't talk by itself. It shows your brain. So
mm,
I just want to help people remember what goes around comes around because
right.
when it happens to the person who did it, well, they should not go around crying. But still and all, I tell people, when you pull a person down, okay? Let's go to crab mentality and let's discuss that on another day, di ba?
Yeah.
When you pull a person down, you know what I say, Rose? Ha! When I give public speaking, I say this and I just look at the guilty in the audience. I say, you know, for those of you who want to pull down people like me and my fellow columnists and fellow speakers, Thank you. Because the fact that you have to pull us down to your low level, you have announced to the world that you are down. Thank you. O, di ba?
Oo, tama yan.
So, so those are my versions of words of wisdom in my wacky way, but it's true. The people who pull people down have announced to the planet that they are down and envious. Let I always tell people, when I meet people who are more intelligent, of a higher position, etc. than me, what I do is I study their winning ways, and hopefully, one step at a time, one day at a time, I will become a better version of myself. Diba? No comparing. I work
Oo.
on me. So there, give me a closing remarks as yes, it's time for us to go and have our little merienda. Your closing remarks and advice for when you open your mouths.
Yes. Before opening your mouth, please think, or if you can, pray. Pray for the person you want to criticize. And then finally, I want to say thanks for listening. Hope to see you again.
Okay, so thank you, Rose, for being with me. You're my Mondate, right? You have a date with me every Monday. You like that, huh?
Every
Mondate.
Monday. Yeah.
Yeah, make sure you don't edit my grammar if I put that. And so, yes, some tips and techniques, as I always do in Candid Conversations, my column on opinion paper with executive editor Rose de la Cruz, humble me columnist. There you go. Here are the tips and techniques that I'm sharing with you. When commenting about other people, consider these three reminders. One, think before you speak. Two, think before you click. And number three, think fairly and choose winner mindset. So, how do you like that, Rose?
Very good.
Okay. So, I am glad that all of you listeners out there spent time with Rose and me. And Rose, as always, I thank you for the time that we spent together helping people form opinions after they think. So, ladies and gentlemen, and people around the world, we're going to see you in 7 days. This is Miss V, Vivien Mangalindan of Show and Tell with Miss V channel on YouTube, where you're going to see lots of videos, lots of talks, and of course, tidbits with Rose de la Cruz and yours truly, Miss V, Vivien Mangalindan. You're going to hear from us again next week. Until then, I love you. Mabuhay!